you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a first impression. Well, I guess it's a first impression. Is it still a first impression if I already swatched it? I guess it is because I've never used it on my face. But the other day I swatched the new MAC Jeremy Scott collection on my Instagram stories and the swatches were lackluster. So I ran a poll and I asked you guys if you would like to see a full review of it because I don't think the swatches are a fair shake at all, honestly. There are so many palettes that I have swatched and been like dog shit, dog shit, dog shit, dog shit, and then I actually like them on my eyes. So I felt like this deserved a full video because a lot of people are pretty hyped up about it because of the really cool packaging. So today we are going to go over the entire collection and we are going to create this look. We're going to use the eye palette, the cheek palette, and the lip palette, which is the entire collection. I don't know why I'm repeating myself. Before we jump into the video, please do not forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I would love it if you would stick around and be my YouTube buddy. And please give this video a thumbs up if you don't mind because that would help me out so much and I would be so thrilled if you did that. Thank you. So if you want to see how I got this look with the new MAC Jeremy Scott collection and you want to see what I think of the collection as a whole, keep on watching. I literally look right now like that meme where the panda wipes away their black around their eyes and says this is what girls look like when they take off their makeup. That's literally what my face looks like right now. This is the box it came in. I swear to God, when this showed up on my doorstep, I was like, did MAC send me like an old 80s boombox? It looks so realistic that I really thought that they sent some sort of like a vintage sound equipment. Ooh, ooh, scoot over, scoot over. On the inside of the box, we have an eyeshadow palette, a cheek palette, and a lip palette. The eyeshadow palette looks like this. This is very heavy tin. This is not like a plastic mold. It's a very, very, very heavy, high quality case. This is what the palette looks like on the inside. It kind of looks like a soundboard. Honestly, I think that this packaging wastes a lot of space, but this whole collection overall seems a little bit like a form over function type of a thing, so I'm keeping that in mind as I go through it. This is the cheek palette. It looks exactly like a M.A.C CD that I had in my car in 2008. Like literally, like I had so many look like that. That is what the inside looks like. We have one bronzer slash contour shade depending on your skin tone, a highlighter, and a blush. And the lip palette looks like a little actual cassette tape. So 80s, so cute, so on theme for this whole thing. I love this whole theme so much. And the inside of it resembles the inside of the eyeshadow palette as well. I just dropped the sheet with the shade names on the floor and I don't know where it went, but a few of these are existing MAC shades and a few of them are new. For example, this is Morange, which is a classic MAC shade. So there are a few newbies and a few repeats that you already have in there, but they are just in palette form. So to start this look, I think the first thing I'm going to dive into is this here eyeshadow palette. Next, I'm going to pick up the MAC 248S brush, which is just a large angled brush. I find this very good for doing like smoky winged liner. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of this blue shade Electric Eel. And I'm going to place that closer to the lash line and toward the center of that wing and then blend that color into the seafoam green that I put down. So far, these are performing way better on the eyes than they were when I swatched them. Thank God, because I thought this was going to be a complete shit show. They are not the most pigmented eyeshadows I've ever used. They're definitely a little more on the chalky side. Not completely surprising because a lot of them are kind of pastel shades. Pastel shades tend to have like a more like white chalky base sometimes, but they are performing pretty well. I really thought this was going to be awful, so I'm pretty happy with how they're working so far. One thing I'm noticing is the pans are getting dirty so quickly. I'm not sure why that is, but look at this one. I only dipped into that one once or twice. I think it's because the brush is bigger than the pan. I don't know, but that looks dirty as shit. The nice thing about that though is because this is that tin kind of a material, it just kind of wipes off, so it's not like permanent dirty, but just saying, if you're a neat freak, this might annoy you a little bit. All right, I want to play with a little bit of a different shade, so I'm going to pick up this yellow over here. This is called Memories of Space, and I'm going to pick that up on a MAC 217 and put it in my inner corner. I'm thinking of using this kind of like as a matte highlight shade, depending on its pigmentation. This may or may not work at all. Picking it up on a yellow brush really made it a mystery. And to add one more color into the mix, just because why not? I'm going to pick up a little bit of this mid-tone purple, which is called Jam Session, on a Sigma E65 brush. And I'm just going to blend that between the yellow and that turquoise on the lower lash line. Okay, I'm gonna go pop on some lashes and mascara and stuff just to finish up the eyes. The collection doesn't have anything in that category. And then we are going to jump into the cheeks. Okay, so off camera, I just popped on some colored liner on my inner waterline. Waterline, why did I say that weird? I also popped on some Benefit Bad Gal Bang mascara and some House of Lashes Iconic Lashes. Next, I want to dip into the Cheeky Volume 1 mixtape, which is the cheek palette, obviously. I'm gonna pick up my Sigma F40 brush and dip it, don't dig it, into the color Acoustica, which is the center shade here. And I'm going to apply that lightly as a bronzer. I already contoured earlier, so I think this is going to be more appropriate as a bronzer shade for me because it is a little bit warm. Okay, I think that that's actually a really nice bronzer color. Like, I like the undertone of it a lot. It does appear a lot lighter in the pan than it does when you apply it to your skin, which is a little deceptive if you're on the fair side, so be careful. But it does mean that this is probably gonna work for more skin tones than I thought it was going to because it looks really, really light in the pan. I think some people will definitely be able to get away with this for contouring too. I just don't like to fuck around with like weird contour colors if I don't have to, so I figured I would try this as a bronzer, but now that I've applied it, I'm definitely going to try it as a contour color as well this week. Next, I'm going to pick up a little bit of this highlight shade. It's called Heaven in Your Smile, and I'm going to pick that up on my MAC 140S brush. Looks hella pigmented. Woo, okay, I'm gonna tap a little of that off before I start, and I'm going to just apply that to my cheekbones. That is a banging highlight. It's very, very bright. Definitely brighter than I expected when I swatched it the other day. Pop a little bit on my nose, a little on the bridge. These are a little bit powdery in the pan. There is a little bit of kickback, so when I dip my brush in, it's getting kind of all over the place, but it applied beautifully though. Now, I would not say that this is as good as the MAC Hyper Real highlights that just came out recently. Those are like maybe my favorite highlighters that have ever been released. I am so blown away by those highlights right now, I can't even begin to tell you. Next, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of the blush shade called Wall of Desire on a BH number 2 brush, and I'm just gonna pop that on my cheeks. Also, again, getting a lot of powdery kickback from that. These are definitely very powdery products, but they do apply nicely, so it's just more of like a messy in the pan issue, it seems. Okay, that's a nice subtle blush. I feel like this might be too subtle for people with darker skin tones, but it is like a nice neutrally pink, so it will agree with a lot of people, just maybe not pigmented enough for everyone. Pretty though, definitely not bad. Overall, this is really nice quality. I think that if you're looking for those three things, a blush, a highlight, and a contour slash bronzer, you could definitely get use out of this if you like the packaging. Personally, I think the packaging is really cool. It's very, very high quality and stuff too. So this so far, I like this. But if you are specifically looking for a new highlighter and you're specifically looking for a MAC highlighter, no joke, like get the Hyper Real. The Hyper Real highlights are like change your life, mind blowing. I just applied the lipstick and then realized halfway through that it wasn't recording at all. So let's try this again. Last but not least, we have the Bumpin' Jams mixtape. I am going to go in with the shade Morange because I want to accentuate the crazy color 80s goodness, and I'm going to apply that with a Real Techniques accent brush. And here's the finished look. Okay, so overall, I'm pleasantly surprised by the results of this because the swatches I did the other day were bad. That being said, the Lo-Fi eyeshadow palette, while it is definitely better than I thought it was going to be, it's not the best colorful shadow palette I've ever used. I definitely think that if you're looking for a super colorful palette, there are better options out there for less money, unless you are looking for this as a collector's item, in which case you're not really looking for it for super high quality eyeshadows. Anyway, personally, I don't usually buy makeup as collector's items, but I know there are a lot of people who do, and I even saw a lot of people tweeting specifically about this as a collector's item. So if that's what you're into, it's a great collector's item. I mean, the quality of the packaging is outstanding. Like, the attention to detail is nuts. It's super, super heavy. Like, you can really feel that a lot of attention and quality went into the packaging of this. But if you're somebody who's just looking for a colorful eyeshadow palette to play with, this palette is $75. 75 bucks, that's a lot. So being that it's $75, if you are just looking for one that's like colorful and you don't care about the Jeremy Scott collab and you don't care about it as a collector's item, then I would say that you are much better off with either one of the NYX colorful shadow palettes or the Morphe 35B. It's not a bad palette at all. I definitely think it's a lot better than I expected it to be from the swatches, but it's also not, in my opinion, if you're not buying it for the packaging specifically, then it's not worth the $75. And I think my hair is being a turd. The Acoustica palette for cheeks is really nice. If you need a trio of a blush, a highlighter, and a bronzer contour, it's really good. I don't see anything wrong with it. If you have very deep skin, I doubt that the bronzer shade will work on you, but it does seem to be a lot darker than it looks in the pan, so don't completely write it off if you're anything but pale. I think it'll work for like a pretty decent range of skin tones, but definitely not like the whole range, you know what I mean? And if you're super pale, it might be a little bit too dark for you. The highlight is nice. It's not as nice as the MAC Hyper Real highlights, but it's a perfectly nice highlighter if you're looking for something that's in a trio with something else. And the blush, again, really nice blush, not anything super mind-blowing or exciting. It has the right amount of pigmentation for a blush, which is like, in my opinion, like pigmented, but not like overly pigmented, because there's nothing worse than when you put a blush down on your cheek and you're just there with a big clown spot wondering what you're gonna do with your life. And the color of the blush is very neutrally kind of a nude, sort of a pink. It reminded me a little bit of Tarte Exposed blush, which works on a lot of people with a lot of looks, so it is a good one to have in the collection. And the Future Emotion lip palette that looks like this adorable little mixtape. It performed just exactly the way you would expect a MAC lipstick to perform in a pan. Personally, I have a love-hate relationship with lip palettes because I really love mixing lip colors. So for example, the Anastasia lip palette is like one of my favorite things to play with, but I also find myself needing to reapply my lipstick all the time. So if it's something that I'm going to wear out and about, then I find it a little annoying to work from a lip palette. However, this palette is really small, so you can definitely fit this in your purse. And if you had one of like those little retractable lip brushes, you'd be in business. It also has a mirror on the inside, which makes it good for that purpose as well. So if you are looking for a lip palette that is actually portable, this one's pretty good. Personally, I'm just gonna stick to my MAC Bullet lipsticks. But if you're looking for something like this, it's good quality. The packaging is super duper cute. I feel like this is so cute to keep in your purse and then like pop out when you're sitting eating and be like, lovely, look at my lipstick. Why would you say that? I don't know, but you get my point. Like, that looks mad cute coming out of your purse if you're reapplying your lipstick when you're out or something. The packaging is phenomenal. Honestly, like, I don't feel like you can get a good impression of how nice the packaging is unless you see it in person. If you have the opportunity to see it in store, I highly recommend that you take a look at it. It's like really, really, the attention to detail is nuts. It's really, really nice. So yeah, those are my thoughts overall. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, because I always appreciate that so much. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because I would love to have you stick around for future videos and like be my little YouTube bud as well. If you would like to be buds across the vast expanses of the entire internet, do not forget to follow me on social media. I'm at Msquinnface on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, even though Snapchat is so dead. Snapchat is so dead. So basically just Instagram and Twitter, you know what I mean? I post new makeup on Instagram almost every day of the week. I post little mini Instagram tutorials over there, so if you don't go watch them, you're missing some stuff. Also, if you would like to get in touch with me, have any questions about makeup, about my filming equipment, just about life in general, you just want to chat, Twitter is the best way to get in touch with me because it gets buried the least there. I think that's everything I have to say for now. I'm gonna go figure out why my hair is being such a little bitch, and I will see you in the next one.